Shadow and Bones is one of the best new Netflix series. It was specifically designed for fans of legendary shows like Game of Thrones, but it stands in a league of its own. Netflix has spared no expense in bringing this amazing universe to life, and fans have been dying to know more about Season 2 and when it will eventually be released. It was initially announced that Season 2 would be popping up in July of 2021, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. So let's take a close look at what we can expect from Season 2 of Shadow and Bones and find out more about when it may be released. Before we get too far ahead, be sure to hit that like button and ring the notification bell for more videos. Even though Shadow and Bones is constantly compared to shows like Game of Thrones, it couldn't be more different. The first season was based on a book series by the same name, cashing in on an already classic series and giving it the fighting chance it needed by introducing it to a new audience on television. To call this show a smash hit would be a serious understatement. Nielsen reported that the series saw more than 1 billion streams between April 26th and May 2nd of 2021. After the first season was such a major success, Netflix announced that they plan to release more episodes in July of 2021. Netflix confirmed that the series would be renewed for a second season in June of 2021. However, I don't think any of us really needed this confirmation to know that more episodes were coming. After all, the series topped the charts, and all of the actors and crew members that were involved were more than happy to announce that they'd love to be involved more in the future. One of the crew members was none other than Leigh Bardugo, the mastermind of an author that was behind the original book series. Bardugo and Eric Heiserer, the showrunner, spoke in an interview with Eric, saying, "I'm honored and thrilled to return to the Grishaverse and continue the stories of these endearing characters, particularly Milo." Bardugo later said, "I've been writing in the Grishaverse for nearly 10 years now, so I'm thrilled we get to keep this adventure going." Sadly, it seems like we'll probably be waiting a very long time for Season 2 to be released. Some fans had hoped that the new season would appear in mid-2021, but that's a far cry from the truth. The first season took many months to film and was produced around Budapest, Hungary. It was a massive production to bring this series to life and took heaps of money to make sure the show was given a fighting chance. When you tack on how complicated it has become to film a show in the midst of a pandemic, it's easy to understand why things have been taking so long to bring this series back. If we look at other shows that Netflix had been creating, we'll see that the shows like The Witcher and Umbrella Academy have been on a hiatus for more than a year and a half while the network scrambled to find ways to film in the midst of government shutdowns that are running rampant around the world. For this reason, most fans are now anticipating a new season to be released in late 2022 or early 2023. I know this isn't the news that any of us wanted to hear, but it's the hard truth that must be accepted.
Why don't you come inside?
Eric Heiserer has spoken about the new season in several interviews and is always talking about how excited he is to bring the series back to Netflix for another season. Shortly before the series was officially renewed by Netflix, he spoke with Sci-Fi and shared some interesting details about what we can expect from the upcoming season. He said, "I would love to talk about what we might get to see from Six of Crows in the second season. I can tease this much that there will be 100% more Wylan. We'd like to introduce him for sure." We learned that Kaz and Wylan likely have a relationship brewing after several hints were dropped in the first season. We can expect to get a bit more background info about Kaz and the bomb that he used to steer away from the Darkling. To add another layer to the romance of this series, it's safe to assume that where there's a Wylan, a Jesper is not lurking too far behind, just waiting to get in on that action. Eric Heiserer also spoke with TV Line about the new series and said that he's expecting there to be some seriously heavy romance between Mal and Alina. He said, "There were definitely moments where a kiss felt warranted, and I'll say this is a generalization and I'm certainly not pointing fingers at anybody, but I fought battles on the show. I won some and I lost some. But I believe there's a lot of kissing in their future should we ever get the opportunity." So with this in mind, where does this leave us in regards to the Darkling and Alina? We don't really know too much, aside from the Darklina no longer being on the same side after Kerrigan forced Alina to use her power to instill fear into his enemies. This was definitely a shocker in the first season, but even after all of this has played out, there's still a lot of tension between these two that needs to be resolved. I think we can safely assume that a happy ending is no longer a possibility for their storylines, but there's a lot of chemistry and tension between several characters that definitely needs to be explored a bit more. So where does this leave us for a release date of Season 2? At the moment, Netflix has not mentioned when they expect the new season to drop. Many fans hoped it would be sometime in 2021, but the network has not even announced whether or not the cast and crew have begun filming yet. Once filming begins, we can expect it to take several months until the crew manages to capture every shot they need. After that, we can assume that there will be several months of editing as well. For a show this complex, you can't really rush this process. There's a lot of preparation that goes into bringing such an elaborate series to life, so we have to do our best to remain patient with everyone involved, including Netflix, as they seem to be doing the best they can with the difficult hand they've been dealt. If we look back at Season 1, we can see that it was released in the early summer months of 2021. For the most part, Netflix likes to stick to a yearly release schedule. If this is true, we can probably expect Season 2 to be released around the same time the following year, meaning it may be released sometime around April or May of 2022. However, if filming has not yet begun, that has cast a lot of doubt on these predictions, as it takes a very long time to bring this show to life. So where does this leave us? Well, as we mentioned a moment ago, I think it's safe to hold out hope for a mid-2022 release, but I wouldn't be too shocked if the series gets postponed once again for early 2023. After all, you can't rush perfection. All we can say at the moment is that this series desperately needs to come back for another season. I've never heard of a series gaining more than 1 billion views in a single week before, but Shadow and Bones has somehow managed to achieve that goal.
I never needed you.
As soon as we hear more about this iconic series, we'll be sure to keep you guys up to date and let you know. But for now, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like button and ring the notification bell for more videos.